There you are. There you are, my friend.
What's up, buddy? We're live.
We are live. We are up. We are running. We should have a little bit of a fun show today. Something a little bit more scripted, a little bit more fun.
Well, I don't know about more fun. We're always fun. Our viewers love us.
I mean, considering what week we are in, and everyone talking about Super Bowls, and I'm seeing the 13th anniversary of the New York Giants Super Bowl, I believe it is.
13 years since 42. It's 50 to 55. Yeah, man.
And that got me a little motivated to start looking at some old plays. And here we are.
Seeing it on Twitter all day, man. And what's up? Great day today. Gary, how you doing, man? Chime in, everybody. We want to get a good little group going. We got some fun stuff. We're talking about Super Bowls past.
What's up, Dean? How are you? Chime in, everyone. We are looking at the chat. We might have a few surprises in store. Who knows?
You never know. I mean, just getting the show technically right is a surprise sometimes.
I mean, look at you looking crisp over there.
Do I look crisp? I literally, it was like 9:50 and I just felt like a shower. And I'm like, do I do it? Do I not do it? I'm like, I'm not going to hesitate. So I literally, I sat down. My hair right now, if I took this off, it's just very freshly, but kind of wild. And so, yeah.
My hair is everywhere.
It's everywhere. But, hit the mic. That's not doing anything. Crispy. All right. Hey, there's a lot of news going on. Super Bowl week this week. Brady could become the first oldest quarterback. What's up, Todd? Oldest quarterback, 43 years old. Oldest quarterback ever to lead a team to the Super Bowl. Could be the oldest quarterback ever to win, breaking his own record. You can tell he's getting older, though, Marco. Like, if they win the Super Bowl, he's going to look into the camera and say, I'm going to Boca Raton. That's what he's going to say. It's a little different place in Florida that he's going to go to. They already have the Gatorade bucket filled with Ensure, ready to drop on his head.
It can't be Gatorade.
What's up? It can't be Gatorade. No. There's a lot of prop bets that you can do. You can do like who wins the coin toss. You can do like what color the Gatorade is, and then you could do at what point in the game Brady has to stop to take his Metamucil. So there's a couple different prop bets you can do. I'm just trying some of these jokes out for you. Is this on?
Should I get a drum and snare going?
I think you might need a giant hook. Is what you might need. Let's take me out right here.
You're trying them out for where? What's the
I'm trying them out.
General, I'm not going to hear.
I hear already they're talking to Sean Watson. What do we got? Todd's crying, laughing with me, at me. I don't care. Hey, so I'm getting ready to unload a tweet, Giants fans, that you're going to love, and it's going to get me killed. And I've been holding on to it like all week. I'm just like, do I drop this atomic bomb? Do I need this kind of heat? I'm going to read it to you guys first. Check me out on Twitter. I think I shamelessly put it right there at Will Presty. It's my annual Tom Brady is overrated tweet. I've done a couple already about how, and it's really true. If you've ever noticed, Giants fans, Brady has now played in 9 Super Bowls. 9. He's never once played a great Super Bowl or blown people away or just done what Montana was able to do or Aikman or Bradshaw once in a while or an Aaron, which is just to put up points. I mean, over the course of his career, he averages, I don't know, maybe 28, 29 points a game. I don't know what it is. It's 23 in the Super Bowl. In 9 Super Bowls, the average outcome of Brady's Super Bowls, Marco, is Patriots win by 1.6 points. So when you look at it, here's some of the stats that I'm going to get ready to drop on the tweet. Tom Brady's Super Bowl stats. All right, ready?
Here we go.
His best single game Super Bowl rating of all time only ranks 15th among passer ratings in Super Bowl history. 15th. His best game ever did not crack the top 14. His career Super Bowl passer rating, when you take everyone who's ever played in the Super Bowl in their career, Montana 4 games, this and that, is 21st. Now, of course, over the course of doing it 9 times, it might go down a little bit, and you get some guys who did Phil Simms, one great one, he's at the top. But still, among multi-Super Bowl quarterbacks who have played in multiple Super Bowls, his quarterback rating is 11th all time in the Super Bowl. That wasn't me Kermit memeing. That was literally I got a throat thing going on. His best PFF grade, so that's not just passer rating, that's actually looking at how he played, is 10th among all the quarterbacks that PFF has graded in the Super Bowl, and they've only been around for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
I'm listening.
His best ever was 10th.
10th.
And they've only graded 15 years worth of these games. He's been as low as 48.9. So when you look at his Super Bowls, is what I'm trying to say, and it might sound stupid because he's gotten to so many.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at them, he really just keeps the games close and then just leaves it up to his kicker and his defense. And we see what happens there with his first three, which were the kicker, and his defense, which was the Seattle game. And the defense they won 13-3 against St. Louis, against wherever the Rams are from these days. He's never once just had that Super Bowl where he just 55-10s it like Montana would do, or has an unbelievable game and just puts it away early on. Or no matter how great he is, and I think it's emblematic of the kind of quarterback that he is. He kind of just he's played in a weak. He's extremely accurate, good decision maker, but he's never touched. He plays in a division where if you're just good, you automatically make the playoffs and have 10 or 12 wins. And of course, all the cheating stuff. So whatever. That's my little Tom Brady is overrated. One of the greats all time. But if I have to pick one quarterback in a Super Bowl, I mean, it's Montana by a mile, and there might even be a couple other guys I would take before Brady. He doesn't really step up. And maybe this weekend he'll go out and put up 100 points. But
did you hit send on that?
No.
Are you thinking not to?
Well, I'm also including the stats. Like I'm going to include so people don't just think I'm blowing it out. But I'm going to, if I send it, I'm going to hit mute conversation. So I don't know what anybody's saying about me. There's not enough room on the tweet for me to end it with, please don't kill the messenger. So, but I did write today, if you look at the scores of all Brady's games in the Super Bowl, and I wrote them all out today, he could easily be 9-0 or 0-9 in Super Bowls. They're all basically one-score games. So, anyway.
So let me just give me the background on how you did your list.
Oh, so we didn't tell people about it.
What was your thought process?
Well, just in case you don't know, we're talking about anyone listening. I'm seeing people talk about the Brady thing. Never had a great wide receiver except Moss. But he performs at a certain level in the regular season, and then performs at a worse level in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He's got great coaching staff. He's never been touched. In games where he's sacked 3 times or more, he has a 500 record for his career. So when the Patriots were without him, they went 11-5 with Castle, who was like 27-43 for the rest of his career. Whereas someone like Peyton Manning goes down, and the Colts go from 14-2 to 2-14. So. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we decided to create lists today of our top 10 biggest, greatest Giants Super Bowl moments of all time.
Okay.
Now you said, how did I go about my list? A lot of it was just up here, and I did a little bit of digging because I'm a millennial. We're not 55, 60 years old. We might have been a little young for a little of these things, but I like to pay homage to the past. So I wanted to make sure that I represented every game. And then I really just gave it some thought. I said, what was the biggest moment? What was so big about this? How unique was this? How much did it change the tide of the game? Things like that. And I feel like we're going to have the same top 3. Maybe in a different order, but I think maybe the tail end of the list might be a little bit different. But so that, do you want to? I think one of us should read a full list, and then the other person should read a full list. Do you want to?
Oh, you want to do a full list? Or
what do you want to go? 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but
whatever you want to do, whatever you think. It's your show.
Because I did it the same way, and I feel that our top 3 are probably going to be aligned. Did you find yourself leaning toward? Why are you giving me the finger? Did you feel yourself leaning towards a Super Bowl? Like I originally did the list, and I was like, "Ooh, this is very heavy towards one Super Bowl."
Well, I felt like I wanted to make sure that I didn't just overdo 42 because it meant so much. I want to make sure it wasn't like that 4-yard run by Brandon Jacobs in the third quarter, man, that got me going. Like I wanted to make sure that, I paid homage to everything properly. By the way, people listening and watching, please write in. We want to see. Fill the comments up with your favorite plays or underrated plays in the Super Bowl, the biggest moments. Obviously, we know the big ones, but just start writing some of the ones you remember and what you were feeling at that moment and everything like that. So what do you want to do? You want to go 10, 10, 9, 9, or do you want to just read straight through? Or do you want to go one of us just reads 10 through 5, the other one reads 10 through 5, and then we'll go back and forth 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
I don't know. I think if we just do 10, 10, 10, 9, 9.
All right. I got to start mine, though. I cheated a little bit because I did some honorable mentions. So let me read my honorable mentions, okay?
All right.
These are ones that didn't quite crack the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 21, Sims to Bavaro to McConkey. Off Bavaro's hands into McConkey's hands. I was going to put it in my top 10, but the game was already 26-10. It was already the fourth quarter. It was a cool play, but it wasn't a huge play. The flea flicker in that game, Sims to Morris, back to Sims to McConkey to get him down to the 1, great play. Jeff Rutledge, fake punt on 4th down in Super Bowl 21, big play. The OJ uppercut from Super Bowl 25, running, and he does the thing. It wasn't that impactful, but it's kind of iconic, so I just threw it there. Bradshaw recovered a huge fumble, I think under Vince Wilfork, that he had no business getting in Super Bowl 42, which was a scrappy, cool play. 2 more honorable mentions, Marco. The OC Tuck, I forget, I think both of them, sack fumble just before halftime in Super Bowl 42 was awesome because you thought maybe the Patriots were going to score right before the half, and they got a sack fumble on them, and it ended that, diffused it. And the one that I was going to put top 10, but I decided to put it in honorable mention, was the Tyree touchdown to give the Giants their first lead 10-7 in Super Bowl 42. Mm-hmm. That was huge. But we're going to see more from that game.
I have a few honorable mentions also. Mark Ingram breaking multiple tackles to get a first down, key play.
Okay.
The tuck strip sack was one. Ahmad Bradshaw sit down. Was a big one. There's a few honorable mentions. I didn't write them down, but who else? There was another one that I thought was a big play.
We got some people writing things. A lot of them. Hey guys, I'm not going to say right now, but you're going to see a lot of these ones that you're saying like that you're pleading your case for might be on the top 10s.
Victor
Alford sack, I don't have in my top 10, but that's honorable mention for me. But I think we might see that one a little bit.
Victor Cruz, first salsa touchdown.
And the Blackburn interception's a good one. It didn't make my list. That was a huge play. And let me tell you why that play happened, by the way. No one's ever said this, I don't think. Tuck drove Brady into the ground, and he hurt his throwing shoulder, in my opinion. You could see Brady, or his non-throwing, one of his shoulders, because when Brady went to throw that pass that was picked off by Blackburn, his arm, he didn't have his arm, you could tell his shoulders, he was keeping them tight to his body. I think it might have been his off arm, I forget. And that's why that pass did not make it to Gronk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He heard it. He heard that, definitely. And I think Big Blue, Elo 80 is saying, yes, you hear me out. Tyree, Jay Alford, Marion Manningham, right after Belichick said cruising next game. We're going to get to some of these. So what do you got?
Kevin Boss breaking it open for 40-some yards was a big play. I think that was fourth quarter, too.
We might hear from that one a little bit, Marco.
All right.
We might hear from a couple of these.
Enough with the honorable mentions.
We're getting right into the top 10.
We'll get into number 10. Will's number 10.
The number 10, Will Presti's number 10 Giants Super Bowl moment of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The Tom Brady safety to open Super Bowl 46. Easily forgotten. Mm-hmm. The Giants had beaten the Pats in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 42, and everybody's, including myself, was afraid, wow, Brady was embarrassed by little old Eli Manning. The Pats offense is going to come out and just light up the Giants defense. Oh my God, we pissed off Brady. We really annoyed Brady. And I think the Giants went down and got a field goal and kicked it off. And it was the first play of the game, I believe. And I didn't do research on this because I was rushing, but it's the first play of the game, I believe, from the Patriots. And it was, what are they going to do? and Brady's standing in his own end zone, and he's got all the time in the world, and then Justin Tuck comes over the middle, so Brady throws it 40 yards down the field, and there was no one there, and immediately, Marco, I said to my dad, I stood up and said to my dad, "That's a safety." And he looked at me like I was nuts. It's an incomplete pass downfield. I said, "No." I said, "There's no one there. That's intentional grounding. He's in the end zone. That's a safety." And sure enough, after a long conference, it was a safety. And that moment completely took the shine off of the Patriots. It was all scary. And on the first play, you saw they're nervous, they're uncoordinated, they're not prepared. There's a safety. It was huge. So that's my number 10 play.
Okay, so my number 10, I love that play too, by the way.
Yeah.
That
starts the game with a Brady mental blunder. I mean, wow.
So similar to that type of play, my number 10 is the goal line stand in Super Bowl XXI. John Elway's on the 1 yard line and has 3 shots at it and doesn't get in. Great plays by the whole Giants defense and Carl Banks in tow, stopping them. And what happens? They go for the field goal, 23-yard field goal. It's a miss. It set the tone that the Giants defense were out to play. Even if you hold our best defensive players down,
right,
we're still coming at you. We're still sending everyone.
Love
that play. Set the tone.
Huge play. Hit me with 9. We'll go back and forth like that.
9. We mentioned it here. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl, and it's a flea flicker. It puts you so close.
Yeah, great play.
4 yards. Phil Simms to Phil McConkey.
Well, Joe Morris to Phil Simms to right.
The eventuality.
Yeah, look it up, kids, if you don't know. Super Bowl 21, 1986, a great play. My honorable mention, Marco's number 9, beautifully executed. McConkey this close. I'll let you tell the story, but you pretty much got it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Put him on, I believe, the
1.
The 1 or the 2.
I think, yeah.
And I believe OJ ran it in right after that.
Huge play and an awesome play. And that's the thing about Parcells. He would draw stuff up like that, man. And I've told you this before. If I were a coach 4 times a year, I would do a fake punt if I was between my own 40 and 50, and it was a less than a 4th and 5 or less. And he as conservative and defensive minded and old school as he was, he would go for it with stuff like that. My number 9 is a bit
just to
keep honest, right? Yeah. My number 9 is a bittersweet one. I don't know, but you can't not include. I don't even know the number of the Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl 35? Dixon 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. If it was any other game, if they won the game, we would have that in the top 5. It's very, very rare, especially for the Giants, who average about a half a yard per return over the last 50 years. It would be higher as an individual play, but because the Super Bowl is so terrible for us, I'll put that at number 9.
So I didn't include that one.
So then I should go next for 8 because you gave me 9, right?
So just speaking on that one, I didn't include that Super Bowl is totally not on my list, not on my radar. It's like it never happened. So
that's on my yeah, I don't remember any of that, but except that one play.
All right. So 8?
Yeah, number 8. Man, I might have to do some reordering right now because I'm feeling my emotions coming to the surface here. Keep writing in your favorite moments, guys, by the way. I might have to do it.
Is something moving down the list or something?
No, something is that I'm about to say for 8 might have to move up. I had it higher earlier. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say I'm trying not to be 42-centric. I'm trying not to be Super Bowl 42-centric. But I will say the George Martin safety of John Elway in Super Bowl 21. It's a safety. That's my number 8. It's a safety. It's always a key thing. By the way, I think there have been an inordinate number of safeties in Super Bowls compared to other regular games. I feel like a regular game, 1 out of 40, 50 games has a safety. In the Super Bowl, there's been 55 Super Bowls. There's been like 15 safeties. Something weird about that. But anyway, it's Elway. It's a safety. It's a momentum swinger. It was early in the game, and I think it took him to 10-9. So that's just a big play. It's a big-time play. It's deserving on my list. What do you got for number 8?
And number 8, I have Chase Blackburn's interception.
I like it. I like it.
So it was Giants trailing 17-15, and the Patriots were starting to move. Giants were playing very good defense. Big hit, underthrow, in the right place. I was on pins and needles that whole game just from the magnitude of like undefeated and Giants had little known players making big plays and contributions.
Yes.
Well known to us, but not, the general population. And
correct.
That's one of them.
What do you got for number 7?
Number 7 is very familiar because we just basically did it. Is Martin's safety on John Elway Super Bowl.
All right, you got a good poker face.
Super Bowl XXI. So,
okay. All right, I like it. My number 7, which I still want to bump up even more, but I'm just going to say it. In my heart, it's such a huge play, but I'm trying to be good to the old-timer guys, is the Kevin Boss play. For those of you who might not remember, the Kevin Boss play was the single most important play from Super Bowl 42. The Patriots had the greatest offense in the history of the NFL, and they were scoring 40 and 50, I think even 62 points in that season in one game. They were just destroying people. Giants were holding them to 7 points in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and we're losing 7-3. And you're thinking to yourself, I remember thinking to myself, we're going to play the greatest defensive game in the history of the NFL. We're going to hold this team to 7 points, and we're going to lose. Giants they scored one field goal early on, first possession. They had not been to the other side of the field in like an hour and a half in real time in 2 quarters of the game. And that play, first play of the fourth quarter for the Giants, a little pop pass to, maybe like 20 yards in the air and a 23-yard run. I think it was the longest play in Super Bowl 42. I think 43 yards, something like that. And it was the first time that the Giants broke across the 50-yard line into Patriots territory. It was the first time in the entire game where you started saying to yourself, we might actually be able to win this game. So that play is huge. I want to put it up in like my top 5, but it's just a pass in the middle of the field. And there's some other things up there. But without that play, the Giants do not win the Super Bowl. I've never experienced an emotion changing where you literally went from we have no shot to we can win this thing on one play. So that's the Kevin Boss play for me, number 7.
My number 7 now we're down to my number 6, I believe, right?
Oh, wait. Should I do my 6 now? Is that how that works? Yeah, I do my 6 now. And then you do 6-5, I do 5-4.
4, 5.
You gave me 7, right?
I believe I did.
You gave me 7, which is George Martin.
Correct.
And this one won't take long. Number 6 for me is the goal line stand and the missed field goal at the end of the half. Those Giants players in 1986 talk about that like it was everything. They were going to go down Elway, the offense, and to get a 3 stops in a row when your trademark is the defense against that quarterback, and then to have on top of it the kicker miss a chip shot field goal. They all say that when that happened, they felt like, okay, we can go out and win this game in the second half. So that's my number 6. What do you got for 6, Marco?
6, I have O.J. Anderson's 1-yard TD run, Super Bowl XXV. That's what.
Can you just say the number? Is that 25?
It's 25. So basically,
dude, really? I guess the first time I got to call you out a little bit, dude.
Bills were leading. That was
a 1-yard touchdown run, though. Like anybody could have done it.
The Bills were leading, and the Giants took the lead. And after that, momentum, another moment. It's a game of momentum swings, and that was a big momentum changer for the Giants.
That's fair.
Grabbing the lead.
Now we're heading into top 5 territory, my friends. And everybody, I want the Steve Smith 3rd and 11 was huge. Love that you guys are writing that back. Marco, great play. It was a great play. There's so many great plays. 1-yard touchdown run. I don't know. But Will's number 7 is the exact reason I believe defensive player and not Manning should have been Super Bowl MVP that year. Oh, because they held that team. Yeah. The issue with the defensive player, the only one really you could have given it to was Tuck. In both of those Super Bowls, Tuck had 2 sacks. If he would have had a third, he would have won it. But 2 sacks and then a quarterback who leads them in those kinds of ties. It's kind of like this, and you're going to give it to the quarterback. But yes, that people were talking about, should you just be able to give MVP to the defensive line or the defense in general? But now we're moving into the top 5. Did you do it already? Did you give your number 5?
No.
Here we go. Keep writing to us. Marco, what is your number 5 Giants Super Bowl moment of all time?
My number 5 Giant Super Bowl moment of all time is Jay Alford on the defensive line, sacking Tom Brady. Pretty much, that's the nail in the coffin, my friend. How do you don't? I think that was in your honorable mention.
I added it late to my honorable mentions.
You felt guilty about leaving it off. But
my issue with that is that the Patriots had to go a long way in a little bit of time, and most likely without that play, the Giants still win. So I think it was great, and it felt awesome, and the visual of him getting popped back and everything was awesome. But I think it was a little bit sizzle as opposed to steak.
Sometimes the sizzle is what.
There you go. You're entitled. You're entitled. Can we agree Armstead wasn't offside on that fall? You know what, dude? Dean, you might be talking about Super Bowl 35, I think it was, 34, whatever that was, against the Ravens. I don't remember that play, to be honest. I blanked that whole Super Bowl out. All right, you ready for my number 5?
Yes.
You had a thought? What was your thought?
No, I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
You think you know what my number 5 is? Or what that play is?
I think I know what your number 5 is.
No, you have no idea.
Oh, okay. Then I might know what your number 4 is.
My number 5 was my favorite. Moss was inches from a 80-yard bomb. And the Giants almost let him get a little bit behind us on that play. And I have to tell you, to take a little quick pause here, the Patriots did not play that final drive correctly. They exhibited hubris. The fall of any major Greek tragic hero is overconfidence. If you really look at it, they were on something like the 25. They needed a field goal to tie. They had like 45 seconds and a timeout. They easily could have just done what they always do, dink and dunk, call some timeouts, do some outs, run up to the line, spike the ball, and settled for a field goal, a 55-yard field goal attempt. But they decided to go 4 different downs, 4 different go routes, because we're the Patriots and we're going to throw deep to Randy Moss every time and no one can stop us, and we set all these records. And I think it screwed them over. If they would have done a little out to Welker and a little catch over the middle and maybe one to Moss on the sidelines and call a timeout, they could have been kicking for overtime. But anyway, here's my number 5. My favorite play in NFL history growing up as a kid. I would watch it over and over again on the NFL, Inside the NFL episode that I taped after Super Bowl 25, the Mark Ingram 3rd and 13 play. The individual effort, unbelievable. 3rd down and 13 on that record-setting 10-minute drive to open the half. That was the drive.
5 times, right?
Needed to score a touchdown going up against that high-octane offense the Bills had. And he catches a 7-yard pass over the middle, which for the life of me, I don't know why Hostetler and them threw a 7-yard pass over the middle on 3rd and 13. He runs around one guy. He stops. He does the shake of the neck thing. I think it was to Darryl Talley to get past him. He, in one step, in like this much space, shakes Klecko, I think it was, out of his jock, and then does a spin move and then gets his leg picked up, and he's hopping on one leg to get to that 1st down marker. Unbelievable play. Or as the announcer said, what effort? What effort? That's effort in New York talk. So that's my number 5 play. And now I will give you my number 4.
Okay.
And I think we're going to have the same top 4 plays. And I think number 4 is going to be the same for both of us. And top 3 could have a different order.
I think so.
Gary likes that play I just did. Number 4 is Manning to Manningham.
No. I don't.
Okay. I don't know if you don't have it on your list or whatever, but that was Eli Manning's greatest throw of his probably Hall of Fame career. The Giants were losing the game. They were backed up on their own 10 or 13-yard line, and you're like, they got to drive all the way down the field again. I don't know if they can do it. The last time they had to get a 4th and 1 and this and that. And on the first freaking play, Eli Manning steps up, looks off a safety. Doesn't even look him off, really, because he ended up getting there. And he throws a 45-yard-ish bomb down the sideline. Unbelievable catch by Manningham. It was a little anticlimactic because they immediately had to go to the replay, and the ref said catch, and was it this or that? Just a perfect throw, a perfect catch, and without that play, they don't win that Super Bowl, in my opinion. So that's my number 4 Giant Super Bowl play of all time. What's yours?
So mine is an iconic moment, not necessarily by the Giants, but by the Bills, where Scott Norwood, wide right, misses, I believe it was 47-yard field goal.
It was.
To end the game. That was my most iconic moment. I remember going to school.
4th. That's 4th for you.
4th.
Right.
Going to school, and my teacher was a maniac Giants fan, Mr. Bresnik. And he said he had like an extra credit on one of his tests, and he was like, "Who missed?"
Oh,
and there I was getting my 2 + 2 extra points. His name down there
should have been worth 3 points.
So, that would have been good. I should send him this.
Yeah, you should. You should. So that's number 4 for you. So what do you got for number?
Is that in your top?
We'll have to find out.
We will have to
find out. What's number 3? Marco's number 3 all-time moment in the Super Bowl.
So number 3 would be Manning to Manningham.
Oh, okay.
So it's in there. I think we might have the same 4, but yes. Best play, toe tip, drag, bomb. And a lot of people say, maybe Eli got lucky on a few passes on his prior Super Bowl. That was that was his best pass I've ever seen him throw.
Yeah.
Best catch I've seen Manningham catch.
Yeah. That was Manningham's last catch in the NFL.
No. I believe people rank that play as top 10 in all Super Bowls. I believe that play is up there.
Okay. All right.
2 of the Giants.
So now that's your number 3. We're now into your top 3.
So that's my 3.
All right. So now I'll do my 3 and then into my 2.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 play in Giants Super Bowl history, and I don't know where you have it. I know it's in there. Is Manning escape Tyree helmet catch.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I have it 3, it is the most iconic moment in Super Bowl history. It's the most iconic play in Super Bowl history. Both guys did things that no one's ever done in the Super Bowl before, and it was en route to them with the biggest upset in history. It wasn't a scoring play, and the game still was out there to be had. I'm not trying to talk negative about it. It would be it is an unbelievable play, and it's one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history. Mm-hmm. If there weren't 2 more that I think were even just that much more spectacular. So it's not that it's my number 3. It's just that there happen to be 2 more iconic, in my opinion, if you know what I mean. But that play, you could argue, is the greatest play in Super Bowl history. Inside the NFL actually called it the greatest play in Super Bowl history. But for me, I would have to put it at 3, and you'll see why when I get into my 2 and my 1. You gave me your 3 already, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is number 1, Will. 1 play. Come on, bro. Really? Dean is just killing me. But it's skill-wise, yes. But it's still other things had to happen for that play to mean anything. My number 2 is wide right. I know it's not a Giants play, but it's the only time in NFL history that a single last-second kick led to a miss, led to a team winning. I know, again, we didn't do it, if you will, but part of the football team and how good they are is a kicker. And the drama of one singular moment, that's unbelievable. It's also the only 1-point Super Bowl, I believe still, that there's ever been. And for it to come down to 1 kick, that level of drama, and to win a Super Bowl that way, again, even though it's someone else's misfortune, and I still can't even watch it, even as a Giants fan, I feel too bad for Norwood. But to me, wide right is so iconic. They won it on that play, and to me, that's number 2. What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Eli Manning to escapes the pocket to David Tyree.
Okay. So you have a number 2 as well. So people getting on me for not having a number 1. Okay.
So that means we probably have the same number 1.
Same number 1.
Same time? Want to say this?
Yeah. Brandon Jacobs 4-yard run in Super Bowl 2032.
No.
Number 1, Manning lobs it. Burress alone. Touchdown, New York. I mean, it doesn't get better. It's the game-winning touchdown. It caps the greatest upset, one of the greatest upsets in sports history. The ball was in the air. That was the first only good pass Eli's ever thrown. That was a spot. It was the first spiral he ever threw was that, and the last spiral he ever threw was Manning. He only threw 2 spirals in his whole career, and it was Manningham and it was Burress. That play was just unbelievable. Even Joe Buck says that was the most exciting sports moment that he's ever been a part of, and this guy's done dozens of World Series and Super Bowls and stuff. So when that ball started coming down and you saw that Plax had a step on him, it was unreal, man.
It was in slow motion for me.
It was.
And you see Plaxico, I'm like, oh my God, he's wide open. He has like 2 steps or 3 steps on him. Catches it, inbounds. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like doubting it. It's like, there has to be a flag on the play. There's something got to happen. Something. Whoo, man. That was it. That was it.
Yeah. I love these Giants fans chiming in. 17-14 fellas, 1 touchdown. We're world champions. Believe it, and it will happen. That's Michael Strahan. Number 1, Sims passed the Bavaro tips. We talk about that one, Mark. That can't be number 1. I mean, the game was already 26-10 at that point. It's a cool play. It was in my honorable mentions, but there's a lot bigger plays in Giants Super Bowl history. Waddle or Devontae Smith. This guy's, I've heard that. I've seen that already a couple of times. I'm not sure, man. I don't know. I'm still afraid Devontae's going to get hurt. And Waddle, you want a taller guy. So not to get into that tangent, but let's hope we get Jamar Chase. I'd be happy with either of those guys. But that's our list, Marco. So, the only one ones that I had higher, I guess, I had Ingram a lot higher than you did. And Kevin Boss you didn't have and I did. And the Brady safety you didn't have and I did. And the Dixon play I had, I had and you didn't. Or I might have been speaking wrong just now, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. You had on there the 1-yard Otis play and the Jay Alford sack.
The flea flicker I had on.
Flea flicker, those are all honorable mentions for me, yeah.
Oh, Chase Blackburn, you didn't have that one on.
Blackburn, which is a nice one too. Yeah, absolutely. But that's good, man. And so then we had the same top 4. I went Burress, Norwood, Tyree, Manningham. You went Burress, Tyree, Manningham, Norwood.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, I went back and forth with my top 3. I put wide right because it wasn't necessarily a Giants play, but
I hear you.
So I put that one at 4. The Manning and Tyree catches, I was like, man, they're also Manningham, sorry. Oh, they're all so close, and Tyree wasn't the final score. Neither was the man. It's just like classic plays.
I think you got to do the Tyree over the Manningham because that Super Bowl was the bigger upset,
right?
And because it has the Manning component in it, escaping the pile.
I like the Manningham one because it proved that Eli. We always thought he was a gunslinger, and there he was.
Yeah, that was a hell of a ball, man.
Proving that it wasn't luck off a helmet or anything like that.
Later in that drive too, I mean, Hakeem Nicks had a couple of nice catch and runs and stuff like that. So, that was amazing, man. Nice trip down memory lane, I'll tell you that much.
I also asked a bunch of people on
Mike. The real number 1 was LT sending hookers to the hotel rooms of a couple of the Bronco players.
So I asked a bunch of people on Facebook and Twitter as well. A lot of course, it was heavy helmet catch and Missed field goal by Buffalo, Manningham sideline, Otis Anderson's go-ahead touchdown Super Bowl 25. We got that. Helmet catch. Teddy Schrosh, 23. Hail Mary in Super Bowl 46, finally hitting the ground.
Yeah. And Gronk wasn't as close to that as people like to say he was.
Grayson Kilmartin. Victor Cruz touchdown catch in 2012. I think
I mean, it's, there's a lot of touchdowns that are scored. That was a 8-yard pass or a 10-yard pass or something. It was nice concentration because the ball was in a lot of traffic, but I don't know if that cracks the top 10. Danny is saying, I'd like to hear you guys top 10 players of all time in one of your future shows. I think we can handle that. I think we can do that.
Seems like a good
idea who number one's going to be.
Yes.
We should. Yeah, I can't wait to hear you guys' 2 through 10.
Yeah. Good luck splitting those.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I guess it's a good thing that you have a guy like that. But
should we do the Mount Rushmore of
Right. Like when you look at like the Niners, you could debate, Montana, Rice. You look at certain teams, but I guess a lot of teams just have that one guy, Barry Sanders, or even if you're like Pittsburgh, you probably would have to just say, well, I guess you could do Joe Green or Jack Lambert.
I think if we were to do a top 10 Giants, I feel I would be heavily slanted towards 80s and up. I don't the guys 70s.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, you'd have to look back. The Giants have like 30 Hall of Fame players and guys going back to like Rosie Brown and I don't even know Tunnel and some of these guys, and we wouldn't be able to accurately. We would have to do like Super Bowl era to be fair, because we're not historians. Frank Gifford, I don't know. We don't know. Stuff like that. But
when you threw 2 times a game, or
everybody should go look up though. He wasn't a Giant. I forget who he played for. I think the Packers. A receiver named Don Hudson, because he's the most underrated player. I know. If he played in today's NFL, people say, "Oh, what would he be?" Whatever. But you can compare people only to their time, and he was the Jerry Rice of his day. I mean, he won like 8 receiving titles in a row and like all these championships. He was league MVP as a receiver a couple times. Like this guy was like, statistically in his day, he was amazing.
BW Webb, number 1. He is correct. Connor, thank you for chiming in. We could just save that list.
Mike knows. Yeah, he was Green Bay. That's what I thought. Anyway, so did you watch the Senior Bowl?
I did not have the chance to watch the Senior Bowl.
I haven't had a chance to watch it either. Yeah, I've been very, very busy. But a lot of guys, I thought like Devontae Smith didn't end up playing in it, I don't think. And I don't even know if Nico Collins played in it. But, a lot of the edge rushers, I'm going to watch it. And draft-wise, I mean, we'll see what happens. Again, it all depends on free agency. And I do have a little list here, Marco.
Another list. Here we go.
Let me see here what I got. Okay.
Something flew into my eye. Jeez, what is going on?
Uh-oh. I have a list of drafts that I'd be thrilled about, that I wouldn't be happy with. Let me see. It's in my drafts. But I know people like draft stuff here. So we're good. Oh, first of all, Giants fans, I heard this. Andrew Thomas, I didn't realize this. Everyone said I would play better in this and that, right? And I wanted him or worse. Andrew Thomas had the second worst pass blocking grade of any left tackle in football and gave up the most sacks of any tackle in football, period. So, yeah, he might have been better in the second half of the year, but we still need a lot of O-line help. All right, here's my little draft insight for you guys. Tony would be good in the second round. Yeah, Tony probably will be gone by the second round, but he would be good in the second round. Underrated Giant of all time, amazing history and stats. Tunnel, yes, I've read up about him. Very impressive. These are the players that I would be thrilled with the Giants taking at number 11.
Thrilled.
Okay, thrilled if the Giants took them at number 11. And this is not knowing what's going to happen in free agency. This will all change once they pick somebody in free agency or take somebody. There's 2 guys on there. I'm not including the quarterbacks because they're sticking with Daniel Jones. You want to guess who my 2 guys are? that I'd be thrilled with if the Giants got in the first round?
Absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
Waddle
out there?
Waddle and Pitts.
No.
Pitts too early to take a tight end. Waddle, you're scared because you want a big receiver. Smith.
No. The top two guys that I'd be thrilled about would be Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. Might be unrealistic, but if one of them happened to drop, I mean, Sewell wouldn't get past 3 teams, especially the Cowboys would take him, and it's just going to kill me. So I just hope Sewell goes in the top damn 5 because I don't want the Cowboys taking him. I'd be thrilled with those guys. Happy with Slater, offensive line, Darisaw, offensive line, Smith, and Waddle. I'd be happy with those 4 guys. I'd be walking around feeling pretty good about great pick by the Giants. Okay with guys that I'd be like, all right, okay.
Russo.
Pitts, Ojulari on the edge, Osai on the edge, Vera Tucker as an interior offensive lineman, and Parsons at linebacker. Those guys, I'd be like, okay, and maybe not Parsons, but everyone says that Brady is, whatever. Guys that they might take in the top in number 11 that I'd be unhappy with. And like, when I say unhappy with, I don't mean like punching things, but just like that's the wrong way to go about it. Kwity Paye, who might have a great future physically, but his numbers just aren't there right now, and he's already 23 years old. Rousseau, who's young, but is just unproven at this point. 1 great year 2 years ago against terrible competition. Could be great, but we don't know. Surtain and Farley. Surtain and Farley are very good, but I just don't think corner is the move right now unless they do something in free agency to address the offense. I don't think it's the move right now. I think offensive line, wide receiver, and edge rusher are more important. I'd love a corner in the 2nd or 3rd round, but I don't want to take a corner at 11 when our offensive line is ranked 31st in football. Our offense is ranked 31st in football. And our pass rush, we were the worst pass rush in football, not in sacks, but in pass rush win rate. So when you're the worst in football in multiple categories, you have to address one of those categories. So that's where I stand on that.
No, you convinced me. I was one of those guys, but we definitely need a second corner. You're like, we don't have a number 1 wide receiver. We don't.
That's what I've said. The people who say we need a second corner, we need a first tackle, a first guard, a first center, a first wide receiver. Okay, we can't first tight end before we get to a second corner.
I think the first time you told me that, you said we don't have a number 1 quarterback, and I was like,
we might not.
I was like, that's fine.
We might not.
Now,
so.
Early on in the chat, someone mentioned that I don't even want to give it any credence because it would just make me so happy if it's true, that the Giants might be in for Waddle. If you're still here and listening, please chime in with if you think what the information that you know that I don't know. But I just like not Waddle. Sorry, Watson. Excuse me.
Watson, right? Okay, so Robert Green. Obviously, this is the chicken and the egg. If you add a corner, it makes the pass rush better. But if you add a pass rusher, it makes the corners better. I just feel overall right now, our secondary, when you look at the rankings and stuff and where they are, we've got Bradbury real solid, Xavier. Our safeties overall look solid. Potential. Our secondary probably is somewhere between 20 and 25 in the league. Our pass rush this past year was dead last, and even the sacks and the things that we got out of it were because of coverages and things that Patrick Graham did. To me, giving Graham another corner and having the quarterback stand back there and still look around, and then eventually someone comes and sacks him because the corners are locking everyone down, that's not as sexy to me. That's not as appealing to me as the quarterback looking and not being able to even look around because there's a guy in his face. If you look at the Super Bowls we just talked about, I love that formula. It's been Strahan, it's been OC, it's been Tuck, it's been JPP, it's been those guys. So, and I think right now the Giants, between some of their other guys that they have, you might be able to find a guy or even bring a guy in for 1 or 2 years that's a veteran to at least plug that gap a little bit. But their pass rush off the edge is non-existent. Again, they're getting Carter back and they're getting Zimenez back, but I think it's time we get an edge rusher. I do. So that's that. Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I like Mike. He knows Don Hudson. he said perfectly said, well,
Yardley Mosley. Yardley. Thank you for the super chat. He wanted us to mention that he thinks Victor Cruz, TD, original salsa should definitely be in top 10. We have Tiana Loves Jesus going on a little bit of a rant.
Tiana loves Jesus.
Okay. Got you, girl.
Maybe we should thank Jesus for those Super Bowls. Maybe he was the MVP of those Super Bowls. Some of the stuff that happened, it can only be miraculous. Can only be, can only be attributed to miracles.
The failed Hail Mary pass? I don't know.
Hail Mary.
Donnie Branch, we need our next Tuck and Strahan combo to make QB swarm. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, there's a clear top 5 edge, in my opinion, in this draft that I think if one of them could drop to the Giants in the second, I'd be thrilled. To me, I've got my edges right now. Joseph Asai, probably number 1. Ojulari right behind him, number 2. After that, I go Rousseau and Pay, and then number 5 for me is Jalen Phillips. There's something I like and don't like about all those guys. Osai is pretty much a solid all around. Ojulari is a little bit small, but great year last year against great competition. He's like 19 years old. So I love that upside. Like I said, most of the edges in this draft, Marco, that are going to go in the top 3 rounds, these guys are 22 and 23 years old. They're all super seniors. Mm-hmm. Weaver and Roche and Tony and Jones and Pay. These guys are like men. And then you've got the guys I told you that I happen to rank my top 3 edges just based on the stats and all these and my eye test and everything without knowing anyone's age. They turned out to be the 3 youngest guys, Osai, Ojulari, and Rousseau. So I'm like, oh, well, that's good. That bumps them up even more in my eyes. So if one of those guys could drop to the second, that'd be great.
See, the problem with we need to find our next Tuck and Strahan combo is that just wasn't struck in Tuck and Strahan. We had your OCs and your Matthias Kiwanukas, and it was just
but we've got a squad up the middle. I mean, if you could find 2 solid edges, our defensive front could be the best in football, dude. But they're not going to find 2 edges this year. They're just not. They have too many other things to do. But if you could bring in 1 edge, either in free agency or in the top 2 rounds, I'd be very happy with that.
So for us to be the best defensive front or have a really solid defensive front, like you're saying, you have to keep Dalvin Tomlinson, or BJ Hill's going to have to step it up. If Tomlinson leaves.
Well, you need. I don't know. I mean, you need. If you re-sign Williams, you just really need 1 other guy, and whoever. I mean, and don't forget Dexter Lawrence, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you had
no, yeah, he's a mainstay on there. He's on.
But I'm saying if you have Williams, Lawrence, and BJ Hill is a dominant middle 3. So, Kiwanuka to me never really. The 6'4", skinny, long-armed, minute ball looking linebacker look never worked for me. I was like, I need him on the D line. I think it's just body types. It's just like how I don't think Pert could ever be an offensive guard. He's just got those long arms, and I'm just like, dude, this guy's a tackler. Nothing, but I think Hill might be a little underrated. I'm not sure. I think he's decent, but
I randomly ran into Matthias Kiwanuka one day. I was coming out of work, and we were in Midtown, and he was going somewhere, and I was gonna like stop him and be like, oh, yeah, just like, but he was like in a rush, and he was like, he had his daughter like giving her a piggyback ride and stuff like that. They were going, I don't know where they were going.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, hold up, come on the podcast. I was gonna like chase after us.
When was this?
This was he was not too long ago, maybe a few years ago, 2-3 years ago.
The most random Giant I ever ran into that I don't know how I recognized him was Booth, Kevin Booth.
Oh yeah.
I ran into him. I felt like I was the first guy ever to come up to him and be like, "Are you Kevin Booth?" And he's like, "Yeah." So Martinez, help at linebacker. Yeah, no, look, Giants need help. To me, it's in the order. It's wide receiver. It's offensive line, which could be 1 or 2. I mean, obviously, I think tight end's got to go, but I don't know if they're going to do that. So it's wide receiver, it's offensive line, it's edge, it's corner, and then I would say it's linebacker. Martinez is so good there right now, and the way they scheme things up, I'd love a linebacker. In all the mock drafts that I have them taking a linebacker with their fifth pick. I always go pretty much receiver O-line or O-line receiver, then I go edge or corner, and then I go linebacker. It'd be great, but we have a lot of holes right now, so I'm not too concerned with linebacker at this moment.
Yeah.
Roche has severe injury concerns. I believe he retired while at UCLA before transferring to Miami. Mike, I'm not sure if it could be true, but I know that that's true of Jalen Phillips. I believe Phillips retired because of concussions and then ended up and is a Miami guy. So unless two guys at Miami have already declared that they retired once before, one of us might be mistaken. I thought that it was Jalen Phillips, who's my number 5 guy, but it makes me nervous about him. So let me see here. Mike. Okay, yeah, that's Phillips, and it's a shame because he was the big recruit coming out of high school. He's had a solid career. He's probably a late first round type of guy. But when a guy's got concussion issues already and he had to unretire once, like, do you really want to take him or you just move on to the next guy?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping someone takes him. I'm hoping a really good edge, one of my top 5 guys, can drop to the Giants in the second round. That's kind of what I'm in my mind think would be really cool if it happened.
People putting in their random run-ins. Was in an elevator with Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse Notre Dame football game.
Nice.
Connor, it's pretty funny. What other funny run-in have I had? Oh, I believe it was Valentine's Day. I got Jessica tickets to Mary J. Blige, and I got last minute, but very close up there. I think it was the 6th row, and I was middle of the stage at Radio City Musical. I was like, this is gonna be great, perfect. Right. Sit down, they're passing out champagne. It's unbelievable. Opening act comes on, and I'm like, all right. And now I'm a huge Lakers fan, right?
Okay.
So sitting down there, and I see this huge guy walking. I'm like, oh my God! Now the seats,
Shaq or Kobe,
the seats in front of me are open. There's 2 seats in front of me open. And I was like, look at this guy coming in. I was like, oh, he's making his way through the aisle, and the usher was helping him in. Magic Johnson.
Oh, Magic, nice.
That right in front of me. Do you know what I saw for the rest of the concert?
A bald head.
Nothing but Magic Johnson's head. I was like,
very funny.
Very interesting. I was able to shake his hand and stuff like that. I told him,
That's cool, man. Although it's funny, those guys, though, usually all their height's in their legs. So even if somebody's 7 feet tall and they sit down in front of you, it's not that bad. But I guess
this is post-retirement Magic Johnson, where his shoulders.
He was also wide, yeah.
He came back as a power forward for a minute, but
that's true, dude. All right, Marco.
What else we got? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm thinking I'm getting a little tired.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
I'm thinking check your texts.
Check my texts.
What else we got going on here?
I think.
So what's next? We got the Super Bowl. We can't not talk about it, even though it's a Giants pod. I mean, Will, you have O-line as a priority, but where would you fix first on the O-line? I mean, there's so much to fix, but I probably would start at left guard or center, something in the interior. I would keep Zeitler. Thomas obviously is going to be your starter this year. He's a top pick. He's got potential. He got better. You got to give him that. Right guard, maybe you try to hope that Perk can come along. I'm not sure if he's going to or not. Did I say right guard? I meant right tackle. If I said right guard, I'm sorry. And then at left guard, I mean, Hernandez seems decent to me, but the fact that they're not playing him tells me that he's just, not that great. And Lemieux, PFF's not everything, but he has a 32 ranking, the lowest ranking of any offensive lineman in the entire NFL. So to me, I don't care who the ranking system is, that's not good enough. So I would love to bring in someone like Scherf or Tooney in the offseason to play guard. And I wouldn't be opposed to drafting if a great tackle was available in the first round and we didn't address it in the offseason, Slater can play tackle or guard, so you bring him in because that will work. So if we could get Sewell, which I don't think we can, I'd play him at left guard and move Thomas to right guard. If we can get Darisaw from Virginia Tech, I'd play him at left or right guard. So
wait, Thomas? You would move Thomas?
If they got Sewell, I would move Thomas to right guard.
Left and he was
Sewell left. Yeah. So
speaking, since you mentioned Zeitler, I saw a tweet with him being cut. The Giants would save a lot of money opening it up to free agency.
Who's Zeitler?
Yeah. So
yeah, but my issue there is, what are you going to do then to replace it? If you cut Zeitler, yeah, you get money, but you just made your O-line worse, and it's already terrible. Like, what are you going to replace him with? A draft pick won't be as good. And you'd have to replace him with a Pro Bowler in order to make him better. So to me, you're just hurting Jones in his third year. For this third year for Jones, you just got to stack the O-line as much as possible. I'd keep Zeitler. I'd potentially bring an offensive lineman in free agency, and if not, I would grab one in the first 2 rounds of the draft wherever I could.
All right, so
latest in the situation with Parsons. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
a few minutes on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Parsons, I don't know if you know about that. He's got some hazing and sexual harassment and violence stuff from his past at Penn State coming up now. So people think he might be dropping on boards. But then again, Simmons, just in the last draft or 2 years ago, whenever he came out, I forget his first name, there's literally footage of him beating up a girl, and he got drafted. So, will it hurt Parsons' stock? Yeah, but he's still not going to make it out of the top 15. So
Jeremy Tunsil, the draft.
Super Bowl.
Taco.
I think the biggest issue in the Super Bowl that might not be getting talked about is, I believe that the Chiefs left tackle is not playing in the game because of a lower leg injury. And your left tackle is probably your second most important player. People say, well, Mahomes, this and that. But yeah, okay, he can scramble, but he's going to have to scramble more than he normally would. So that's going to hurt them. As I've said to you, and I'm not just trying to be a jerk, Brady's just played pretty average in Super Bowls. He just kind of plays okay. He's never blowing anybody out. He's never getting too far behind, except for the one Atlanta game, which was topsy-turvy. I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs have kind of been a little lazy this year. It's going to be both teams, I think. I don't know. The Chiefs have let teams get out ahead of them. Tampa being home might be a slight advantage. Chiefs are a slightly better team, but you look at those receivers that Brady has and the offensive line protection that he has. I mean, you saw his last game. It's every quarterback's dream. He just gets, I tweeted this out, he gets to just stand there in the pocket, stand tall, all 6'5" of them, and just throw soft passes to wide open receivers all day. He was terrible in the last week. He threw 2 interceptions to guys that were like, whatever. I don't know how to call it. I don't know if I fully trust the Chiefs. Brady just seems to be the luckiest man in the world with everything that happens. So I'm not sure. I picked the Bucs this past weekend over the Packers because the Packers just, to me, it's a choke team, and Rodgers, I just don't trust them. I guess I would slightly have to say the Chiefs, but it's going to be a tight one. I think it'll be a 3-point game.
Yeah, that I did hear in regards to Mike's tweet that the hair cutter did expose a few Chief players because he tested positive, and they stopped him halfway through the haircut or something along that line.
Yeah, so Stop hating on Brady. I'm not hating on Brady. Dude gets a lot of breaks. Dude, if you weren't here in the beginning of the show, I read all the stats. He plays very average in Super Bowls.
Brady.
And he had last week, he threw 2 or 3 I think, interceptions. They were terrible interceptions. If that was anybody else, to be like, oh, he choked, this and that, but it's Brady, so
he's 5 years old. What do you expect him to do?
Well, I'm just saying. He's got these receivers that are just, 9 feet tall. But Brady is, I
think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. I don't know how it's going to play out, though. I don't anticipate anyone blowing the other team out, though.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be 34-31 somebody, and I guess maybe I'll say maybe I'll say the Chiefs. And hopefully Mahomes' toe is all healed up because that was a major factor. By the way, did you hear about his concussion? That was crazy that it wasn't even a concussion. Did we ever talk about that?
No, we didn't.
It wasn't even a concussion, dude. It was he got choked out. When I first saw that play, I'm like, how could this be a concussion?
What happened?
You know Mahomes' concussion, right? When I saw the replay, I'm like, how could that be a concussion? His head didn't hit anything. The guy kind of snapped his neck a little bit, but that's it. Turns out he didn't have a concussion. He was choked out. He got pinched in his carotid artery or whatever, the same thing that happens in UFC when you choke someone out. And because of the angle of what happened, if you rewatch the tackle, he literally just lost blood to the head. And that's why he basically passed out on the field. It was not a concussion. That's what Jay Glazer reported. So that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Mike. This is the Bleed Boo podcast. And if you want to talk Brady, go to the Bucks Suckcast. There you go, Mike.
I'm fair. I'm fair on Brady, man.
I don't know how the Super Bowl.
He's a top five. He's a top 5 quarterback of all time who was in a perfect situation with great coaching, a lot of cheating, a terrible division, and got to the championship game every year and played pretty average and won a lot of games, lost a lot of games. He could be 9-0 in Super Bowls. He could be 0-9 in Super Bowls. They're all one-score games, except this past year when his defense didn't give up more than 3 points. So 13-3, the great Tom Brady won this past Super Bowl. So, but yes, he is. I understand the GOAT, this and that. People are going too crazy though. He's not even necessarily the best football player of all time. Give me Jim Brown, give me Lawrence Taylor, give me some of these guys in the trenches, and still give me Joe Montana over Tom Brady any day.
Are you big into Super Bowl boxes? Are you big into Super Bowl bets? Will you do a little?
Nah, I don't gamble. But I'll do boxes if it presents itself to me. I'm not going to not fill out a box, but yeah.
All right. I think we'll call it here.
All right.
And next week, maybe we'll get another list going. I don't know.
Next week we could do, you guys can write into us what top 10 list you'd like to see us do for next week, or a top 5 list or something. Somebody suggested Giants players. See what happens.
Want to prep that one up? Top 10 Giants players of all Super Bowl era?
Yeah, we'd have to go Super Bowl era on that one. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your comments. We'll be back. And we'll have a new Super Bowl champ, and then it'll officially be off season.
All right, everyone.
Where we're going to make our move.
Yeah. All right, Willie. Thumbs up for joining in. Great list. Excellent work.
Marco, you too, buddy.
And see you around. All right, everyone. I'm going to throw the end screen up. We're going to have 2 videos. Click them. Subscribe if you haven't. Do all those things, and I will talk to you later.